Valley Talk on News Talk 1580 KGAL.
And a very good morning. It's Monday, and boy, we have got a show for you. We've been juggling guests around at the last minute because of the comments the governor is making at the Oregon Business Summit, in fact, right now. So here's what we have on the show today, and we've also got a couple things to give away. First part of the show, we're going to be talking to Don Albright and Joyce Marrera. Hope I got that right. Joyce, thank you for being with us on Valley Talk today. They are involved in the 36th annual Christmas Storybook Land. It began November 30th, continues through the 14th, and it's an opportunity to walk through scaled-down scenes of Mother Goose rhyme characters. And you want to move that microphone just a little bit closer to you, and we'll be talking to Don and Joyce here in just a moment about that. About 11:30 this morning, we're going to be talking to Jim Green, who is the Deputy Executive Director of the Oregon State School Boards Association, about the governor's proposed budget. And they're supporting that as a way to rebuild funding for education. Oregon School Boards Association hailing Governor Kitzhaber's education budget for 2013-15 as a positive first step towards establishing a stable source of funding that they say schools desperately need. We're going to talk to them about why they feel that way. At 11:45 this morning, we'll be talking to Representative Mike McClain about the governor's proposed budget. Now, initially, Mike was going to be on right now, but he wanted to hear what the governor has to say in his comments that the governor should be making right now, and Mike wanted to hear those before he could comment, so we moved him to about 11:45 this morning. Then at the very tail end of the show, hope you're making notes of this, we hope to have Dayla Johnson on with the Lebanon Police Department. They need your help in helping 200 more kids get gifts for this holiday season. So we have a packed show today. Thank you for being with us on Valley Talk. We also have a couple of things to give away. Of course, Quiznos Taste on Us. Send me an email, dave@kgal.com. Put Quiznos Taste on Us on the subject line. And at the end of the show, we'll draw a name out, and the person will get a $10 gift certificate for Quiznos here in Albany, next to the former G.I. Joe Sporting Goods location, next to Novak's Restaurant, and you get a $15 gift certificate. Very, very tasty sandwiches. I eat there every day for lunch, and very big thank you to Dale and the crew there at Quiznos. I also have a pair of tickets to the Oregon State Grambling State game, December 8th. I have Section 2, Row 15, Seat 3 and 4 in my hot little hand here, and we will give those to the first person that sends me an email, says Oregon State Grambling State on it, and send that to dave@kgal.com, and these tickets are yours, Oregon State, Grambling State, December 8th, and we'll give away those tickets this morning right here on Valley Talk. We have another pair of tickets we'll be giving away tomorrow. So, busy show today. Thank you for being with us, and thanks to everybody for participating and sponsoring Valley Talk today. Don Albright, Joyce Marrera, thank you for being with us on the program.
Glad to be here.
It's been going on for 36 years, Christmas Storybook Land. Don, I understand that you were initially part of this effort to do this 36 years ago.
Yep, it sure was.
And it's held at the Lynn County Fairgrounds. What are the hours, first of all?
Well, we start at evenings, Monday through Friday, is 6:30 to 8:30, and weekends are 10 to 8:30. And the last day, Friday, a week from this Friday, right, we start at 1 and go to, that's our last day, and we go to 8:30, or whenever. We usually don't get out there at 8:30 because everybody comes. But
what do people find?
Well, you'll find, first of all, there are about probably 1,200 trees. They're thinner trees, by the way, which would be burnt in the woods, so we're giving them a second life. Want to get that clear. And we're not cutting good trees. They'll find that walking through kind of a forest area with little fences in front of all kind of nursery rhymes and early ones and also later ones on. And you'll have a train layout. We have a mechanical bear country, we call it, with a lot of mechanical bears. Victoria Street and Main Street. And Main Street has some of the buildings here you'll recognize, historical buildings in Albany.
Why did you decide to do this? Sounds like a lot of work.
Well, Alpin Rose has something like this at the Lloyd Center back 64 years ago, or or 66, I mean. Anyway, we was up there, and it was impressive. They have real animals. We didn't want to take care of real animals, so we just went with the other ones. And something free and non-commercial at Christmas time is what me and the 5 groups of people, I won't mention them because I might leave somebody out, but they're good people, and started this up, and it just snowballed.
Obviously, it's been going on for 36 years, so the public supports this, don't they?
Yeah.
Is it a fundraiser for any organization?
No, it isn't. We do collect canned food. If you want to bring it, it's free, first of all, and there's no refunds, by the way. And we support fish. They help us. They pick up the food, and it's really good for them in the valley. And if I could at this time, I'd like to thank everybody in the valley and the merchants and that's backed us over the years, and the people that's helped, especially. We've just had tremendous support. So,
why do you think that is? It's been going on a long time.
It's first of all, anything to do with kids is nice because you bring your grandkids or your kids, and the older people get a kick out of it, and it's just a neat thing. Just something that Christmas time's a giving time of year, and
so they walk into is it in the Expo building, correct?
No, it's in the Willamette.
Cascade Pavilion.
It's in the Cascade Pavilion.
I can remember stuff.
So as they walk into the Cascade Pavilion, what do they see?
We see just Christmas trees galore, and you walk down the trails, back and forth through the trails, and each scene has different scenes. I can't mention all of them. There's so many of them.
There's 85 different scenes, and this every year we add new scenes. This year in particular, we have one called Pirates of the Caribbean, which is just fantastic.
Arrgh.
The ladies have been working on it all year. Our scene development committee meets once a week, every week through the whole year, renovating scenes, repairing scenes, creating new scenes. It's something to see. The train sets are fabulous.
So you walk through a path and you go from scene to scene of tales of Christmas or Mother Goose rhymes,
yes,
Pirates of the Caribbean.
There's also children's storybooks like The Three Pigs, the Little Miss Muffet, those kind of things. And also we do a lot with the family movies. We do scenes on different family movies, such as like Aladdin, Monster Inc., those things. We've gotten some fabulous donations this year, so we have donated a great big 6-foot Sully monster, so that's something for the children to look for.
Do any of the displays have actors in them? Or are they all static? Are they all mannequins?
We have mechanical. They're mechanical,
okay.
Some of them, quite a few of them.
How many volunteers? Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I'd like to thank KGAL and KGAL because they've been a good supporter for us and really went behind us on everything we've done. So I'd like to get that in there before I forget it.
Sounds like there's a tremendous amount of work. We're talking about 85 different scenes of characters.
Right.
How many volunteers do you have help you put this on?
Well, I did calculate that. We do make a volunteer board, which we hang out by the North Pole at Santa's Workshop area, and I've posted this year 427 volunteers who have helped us in some way this year. We had 239 people come out to help us set up on November 24th, which you remember was the same day as the Civil War football game. So it was pretty amazing, the commitment that people have to Christmas Storybook Land setup to get that many people out.
If you're fighting the Civil War and you still have that kind of response, this is significant.
I suppose I need to give special recognition to the youth of the Valley, and particularly the youth of Albany, because we had over 100 high school students from the area come out, along with the Young Marines and several Boy Scout troops and Girl Scout troops on that setup day. A fabulous turnout.
How many people turn out?
Last year, the tally that we had in 2011, we had 26,360 last year. 26,000 people.
Where do they all come from?
All over. Portland, the Valley mainly, but Portland, Eugene, all over. And James Augerbright's our president. I'd like to thank him for keeping us together and keeping us moving along. He's from Corvallis. We have people from all over the Valley that help work on this thing. So just Salem and all over. It's just a neat thing. Keeps going.
Why do you do it? You've been doing this for 36 years.
I just, my mom and dad was one of the first ones originals on it. And Christmas has always been big at our house, and it just seems to, if you come out there and you greet her or run the trains or something, Santa Claus helper is out there, it's just the smiles keeps you going, and the kids, and it just thinks you feel like you're doing something good. Makes your heart warm.
Joyce, what about you? Why do you get? How long have you been involved in Christmas Storybook Land?
Well, I first attended Christmas Storybook Land back in 1989 when my son was only 4 years old, and we just loved it, and it became a family tradition. We went every year from then on, and then later, around 2004, I was able to reduce my workload, and I was working only part-time and wanted to get involved, and I joined the board in 2004. So I've enjoyed it ever since. It's a wonderful group of people to work with, and to see the commitment of the community to such an event is very, very heartwarming.
Are all of the material and the time, is it all donated, or do you have a budget, and how is fundraising going? A lot of nonprofits right now are having difficulty with fundraising.
We have this year, we sell the scenes for $100 each, most of them. Some of them, the bigger scenes are more, and they put the name, family of the name sponsored this scene on there, and that's what's going to keep us going, I think, in the future, because the money's so tight. And and we have some fundraisers along the way, different ones, but that's I think, going to be a big one for us, and we have good people working on that, raising money. So.
Speaking of that, right now things are changing so much. It's almost, people are talking about today as the new normal. This is an event that's been going on for 36 years. It kind of, in some ways, I don't want to wax poetic here or nostalgic or whatever, but it's nice to have an event like this that anchors us to the past. It's familiar, it's stable, it's there every year, year after year after year, when there's so many things that are changing and so many things in life today we can't rely on being here next year. And it's nice to have an event that, at least Christmas Storybook Land will be there, and it's something that people can have some stability in their life. Would you agree with that?
Oh, very much. I was timber carnival for a lot of years, and we lost that. And we're just hoping and praying that we can keep on going. I think we will, because we have more people involved in the community to keep something like this going. It's good for the valley. It's just a neat thing. One of my biggest thrills is seeing the grandparent bent over telling the grandkid about one of Billy Goat Gruff or something, Three Little Pigs, and then you get down the way and he's telling you about one of the newer ones. The little kid is telling grandpa about that, or mom and dad. So, and people just come and they go through and they go through again. The Victorian houses are furnished and they're about 8 foot high, and people sit and look at them, and all the store windows are full of bakeries, has stuff in them and everything, and you just take the detail and the time and look at the detail. It means a lot.
Joyce, what about you on that same statement? Stability, something you can depend on, kind of anchors us to the past. What do you think?
Well, what I'm hearing from people, we have a wonderful website now, and I'm getting a lot of feedback from our ChristmasStorybookland.org website. It's one of the few events anywhere in the holiday season that is non-commercial, free of charge. It's geared to families. It's operated solely by volunteers of all ages, the young as well as the old. And it really offers people a chance to help others by bringing packaged food for the low-income families that we can distribute in our area through Fish of Albany. Last year alone, we collected 21,700 pieces of food items for fish, and it just offers this opportunity for people to participate and feel good about the Christmas season. I see people going in to Christmas Storybook Land. I see people coming out. I can tell the difference immediately. Those that have the big smile and the happy faces are coming out.
There you go. Joyce Morera, did I get that?
Yes.
Joyce Morera and Don Albright with the 36th Annual Christmas Storybook Land. More on Valley Talk in just a moment. Don't forget to sign up for two things we're giving away today. The OSU Grambling State game, December 8th. I have 2 tickets here, Section 2, Row 15, Seats 3 and 4. And you can have those too if you're the first person to send me an email at dave@kgal.com. Or you can sign up for the Quiznos. You can sign up for both if you want. Quiznos Taste on Us, $10 gift certificate at the end of the day, at the end of the show, I should say. And you can email that to dave@kgal.com or call the radio station. And the numbers to call KGAL are 451-KGAL or 926-KGAL. It's Quiznos Taste on Us on Valley Talk, and the program will continue in just a moment.
If you have lived in the Mid-Willamette Valley for just a short time or possibly most of your life, you probably know a lot about Mennonite Village of Albany. In fact, their reputation is well known throughout the Pacific Northwest. They are a faith-based community in the Mennonite tradition of faith, family, and friendship. As a continuing care retirement community, they provide housing and support services designed to meet the changing needs of persons of all faiths and beliefs. The Mennonite Village offers a variety of retirement living arrangements, including active living homes, congregate living apartments, assisted living apartments, Alzheimer's and dementia care, and nursing and rehabilitation. As a nonprofit organization, their rates for these services are quite reasonable. Right now is a perfect time to contact Gene Stutzman for a tour of the Mennonite Village to check them out at 5353 Columbus Street Southeast in Albany. Online at MennoniteVillage.org or call 541-928-7232. That's 541-928-7232.
The customs of Christmas. Of all our customs of Christmas, the number 3 is among the most significant. And a very real person, thought by many to be a mythical saint, is responsible. I'll tell you that story in a moment.
This is Greg Rowe, Executive Director of the United Way of Linn County. For many people, an important custom of Christmas is lending a helping hand to your neighbors and friends in need with a donation to the United Way. At holiday time and year-round, the United Way and its 21 nonprofit partner agencies are helping change lives for the better. Go to our website, unitedwayoflinncounty.org, and discover how you can help change lives. Give, advocate, volunteer. Live united.
In our customs of Christmas, an important place is given to the number 3. While we don't know with certainty how many wise men there were, we assume the number 3, as in the carol, We Three Kings of Orient, and another, I Saw 3 Ships. It began with the man whose legend became Santa Claus in America, St. Nicholas, 4th century Bishop of Myra in Asia Minor. An impoverished nobleman, it is said, had 3 daughters to be married and no money for dowries. As each daughter became eligible, the bishop would ride by and toss a bag of gold through the window. Those 3 bags of gold became a symbol for goodness and a significant custom of Christmas.
What better Christmas gift could you get someone this year than something they will use, sometimes every day, that they don't expect, that they will love? Thoughtful, creative, quick, and inexpensive. Gateway Imprints in Lebanon can customize iPhone or iPad cases, blankets, t-shirts, jackets, plaques, mugs, golf balls, practically anything you can think of with a picture, a name, or a logo. No minimum orders and no limit to the fun you'll have creating a custom Christmas gift. That's Gateway Imprints, 585 Park in Lebanon, or gatewayimprints.com.
Jim Bohannon, weeknights on News Talk 1580, KGAL.
This is KGAL's Valley Talk. I'm Dave Adams, and glad to have you with us today. We're talking to Don Albright and Joyce Morera, and they are guests on the show today. We're talking about the 36th annual Christmas Storybook Land. And Joyce, give us the times again for the event.
Okay, weeknights, we're open from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m., and on weekends, we open at 10 a.m. and continue all day till 8:30 at night. And our very last day, December the 14th, we open early. We open at 1 p.m. in the afternoon, and we'll continue through the day to 8:30 until all the folks are out of gone through. We do want to remind people that we are going to need help for teardown on December the 15th, and we start at 9.
How do people respond and tell you that they'd like to help?
Well, we have committees, and each committee works on getting people to volunteer. We have a greeter committee, and I have a senior citizens committee, and we all work to get people that to volunteer. We also have our website. We take contact people from the website and refer them to the appropriate committees. We can accept anyone. If they would check in with us at christmasstorybookland.org and contact us, we will get to them.
What do you need help with? Maybe people that can't do heavy lifting. What kind of things?
Well, right now, our big need for help is additional greeters. These are people that would be there and monitor the site to make sure it's safe and help to receive the cans and count the people that go through. And again, if you contact me through the website, I can refer you to the schedule for greeters.
What new displays? Now, there's 85 scaled-down scenes of different characters, Mother Goose. You mentioned Pirates of the Caribbean, some others. What's new this year?
Well, the Pirates of the Caribbean is our big one this year, but we also added Land Before Time with Littlefoot, and we've gotten a donation of a huge monster, Sully, from the Monster Inc. movie.
He's always a popular one.
And he is huge. The kids are just so excited with that.
Don, well, you started something here. 36 years and still going strong.
Unbelievable. It's really rewarding, I'll tell you. Just something that makes you feel good that the people come out there and what they do. One thing I want to get a plug, if I could, in here, this 15th at 9 o'clock in the morning, we tear down. And everybody's going different ways for Christmas, and we like to, if they can come out to the fairgrounds, we'd like to have them out there. We'll feed them lunch.
Mm-hmm. Christmas, special time of the year, isn't it?
For me it is, yeah. A lot of people, yeah.
Why is it for you? What's special about Christmas for you?
I just grew up way back in Arkansas when I was a kid, and I remember candles on the tree, but it was a get-together with the family, and just good times. Plus, the packages always help out, too, you know. So,
okay, Joyce,
Santa Claus out there too, by the way.
Joyce, what about you? Christmas.
Well,
Special
Christmas
time.
is the best time of the year as far as I'm concerned. But I do want to point out that we do have some special things going for people that are not within our normal open hours to the general public. We have 2 times that we are open during the day that is not generally open for the general public. They're special showings for 2 special groups of people, and they are school children and senior citizens.
What times are those?
Well, Michelle Argabright invites and schedules children's groups from preschool and elementary schools up to 3rd grade. And the tours are Monday through Thursday of this week. But individuals that have children that are not in the school groups are really welcome to come out on these school tour days. The open hours, if you would like to bring your child out, is Monday through Thursday of this week from 9 to 11:30 and 1 to 2. And we will have greeters there, volunteer greeters there to help the children go through. Last year we had over 3,600 children participate in the school tour days. The other group of people are the senior citizens, as I mentioned, and I'm the lucky one who is in charge of Senior Citizens Day. I've sent out invitations to over 80 senior assisted living facilities throughout the valley. And they come out and enjoy a private showing. And this year, Senior Citizens Day is this Friday, December the 7th. And all seniors are invited to this special day, not just people that are living in assisted living facilities. The times that we offer are 10 o'clock in the morning to noon and 1 to 3. And that's this Friday. I have wheelchairs available, so that's a no problem. And I have over 35 people that have volunteered to come out and push wheelchairs or assist those seniors around the event. So please, if you're a senior, come on out and have some fun.
All right. Have you done a survey with the people that attend? You mentioned that they come from all over the area. They come from Portland, so on and so forth. Anybody come from out of state specifically to see Christmas Storybook Land?
We had one from China last year. I'm not sure they came over just for that, but they enjoyed it anyway. We have a lot out of state that come out to visit family.
Maybe Washington State come over for...
Yeah, we have the Midwest all over, it seems like.
Okay.
The senior citizens come from all over the valley. I get many seniors coming from Springfield, Eugene, Salem, Junction City, Dallas, all over the entire valley. So we're very proud that the seniors really enjoy this day. They look forward to it from year to year. I see some of the same people, and they say, oh boy, it's time for Christmas Storybook Land again.
Is anybody actually at any of the displays reading something from a storybook and going on with the display?
This year we have, every display has a part of the story in it, and so it's kind of neat. They're small to see, but you can Bring a flashlight maybe, but rest warm and bring cameras. We encourage a lot of pictures. There's a lot of good things, shots out there.
Good tips. Anything else that you'd like, if there was something you could tell the public about Christmas Storybook Land that you say, boy, if I could get on the radio, or if I could tell them either don't park here, or what message would you like to get out to the public to make the event go along better?
Well, there's plenty of parking out there. And I think the one thing you got to remember, that Santa and Mrs. Claus are there, and they're ready to give you that special little candy cane.
Do you have a website?
Absolutely.
What would that be?
It's ChristmasStorybookland.org.
And it's free of charge.
Free of charge.
Again, it's at the Lynn County Fair and Expo Center at Cascade Livestock Building. The hours again as we close out the show with this segment. What, Don?
Okay. We go 6:30 to 8:30 weeknights, and 10 to 8:30 on weekends. Now the 14th, our last day, we're opening it at 1 o'clock until 8:30, or till the last person goes through, and so we'll make it out. The thing to me is that if you don't know how good it is, you come out. Someone says Christmas Storybook Land, I'm interested in that. You come out and see what we've done. The 1,400 trees up there, that's a pretty good indication that there's a lot of good things going to happen out there. So.
Sounds good. Don and Joyce, thank you for all you... 36 years, boy. Hats off to you guys. Thank you for putting on such an event, especially right now when we just need... I keep going back to this, an anchor to the past, or something that's stable in a time when everything seems to be kind of spinning around. And the new normal is popping up everywhere. It's nice to have something that can kind of keep us anchored, I guess is a word I keep coming up with. So thank you for what you do for Christmas Storybook Land. Valley Talk will continue in just a moment. We have a lot to get on the program today. We have on the phone line with us right now Jim Green, the Deputy Executive Director, Oregon State School Boards Association, and the Governor's proposed budget. We're going to take a break, and we're back with Jim in just a moment.
The Osgood File, sponsored in part by Auto Owners Insurance, the no-problem people. Visit autoowners.com. This is Charles Osgood. There's been a dramatic increase in the number of Americans diagnosed with cataracts. That's partly because of an aging population, but it's also because cataracts are now showing up in younger people, too, as our CBS News colleague Begat Shaban.
Cataracts are the leading cause of vision loss in the U.S. More than 24 million Americans 40 and older have the disease. That's a 19% spike in the past decade.
The story after this. In this moment, who has your back? Do you know the name of your insurance agent? Does your agent know your name? Or would you call a 1-800 number that connects you with who? Another state? Another country? Get a local, independent insurance agent with Auto Owners Insurance. Someone you can call when bad stuff happens to your car, home, or business. In this moment, get an agent who will protect you in that moment. Auto Owners Insurance, the no-problem people.
In Martinsville, call BB&T Insurance Services of Martinsville at 276-666-3600.
Every day, it seems, there's something new your smartphone can do. Now, it can open and close your garage door from anywhere in the world. With a LiftMaster garage door opener with MyQ technology, you can use your smartphone or computer to control your garage door from anywhere, anytime, like right now. And LiftMaster garage door openers with battery backup keep your garage door working even if the power isn't. Find a dealer near you at liftmaster.com. Go ahead, look it up on your smartphone. Begat Shaban was telling us about cataracts and introduced us to William Newland.
William Newland's career depends on his eyesight. He's been an airline pilot for 35 years.
I can't fly an airplane unless I see perfectly.
But at 51, his vision became blurry.
It's like looking through a dirty glass.
Newland is part of a growing number of patients diagnosed with cataracts, a common condition in seniors. Clumps of protein cloud the lens of the eye. If left untreated, it could lead to blindness.
Fortunately, though, cataracts can almost always be corrected by surgery. The doctor can remove the eye's cloudy lens and replace it with a new artificial lens. Dr. James Schultz is a spokesman for the American Academy of Ophthalmology.
We can make the patient see often better than they've ever seen by correcting their nearsightedness or farsightedness or astigmatism, and in some cases even eliminate reading glasses.
Doctors recommend all adults get a baseline eye exam by age 40. Annual eye exams are a must after 65.
As for pilot Bill Newland, says Shaban,
Newland has had perfect vision in his right eye since cataract surgery 4 years ago.
Really reassured me that I was going to be able to continue in my career.
But he's still keeping a close watch on his left eye, which also developed a cataract.
Doctors also recommend wearing sunglasses and hats to protect your eyes from ultraviolet rays and to help prevent cataracts. The Osgood File. Charles Osgood on the CBS Radio Network.
The customs of Christmas. As a custom of Christmas, candles glow in homes across the land. Do you know why we light our Christmas holidays with candles? I'll tell you in a moment.
It's that time of year when families gather and stories are told. A time when memories are made for the next generation. Hi, I'm James Dufour.
And I'm Crystal Dufour with Awesome Dufour Funeral Home. We just want to take a moment to wish you and your family a very Merry Christmas. May you enjoy your time together and create memories that will last forever.
From our family to yours, have a very Merry Christmas from Awesome Dufour Funeral Home in Albany.
A custom of Christmas, candles. The origin of candles can be traced to the Scandinavian Festival of Light, but they've come to have an even more significant meaning during the Christmas season. Certainly they're a symbol of Christ, the light of the world. Long ago, it was believed that the Christ child returned to wander the earth on Christmas Eve. And so those who loved him, hoping that he might find their homes, placed lighted candles in their windows. And today, we continue to light our holidays with candles, one of the oldest customs of Christmas.
Laugh, cry, or get scared spitless with When Radio Was. Weeknights at 10 on 1580 KGAL.
Hey, this is Valley Talk. I'm Dave Adams. We have a packed show, and we've got a lot to cover, so let's get right to it. Let's go to the phone lines right now. And we have Jim Green, Deputy Executive Director of the Oregon State School Boards Association. Jim, thanks for being with us on Valley Talk.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, you're just at the... You're at an event right now, and the governor has just issued some comments on his proposed budget. We want to talk to you specifically about what he had to say for education. It's which summit are you at again, please?
It's the Oregon Business Summit up at the Oregon Convention Center in Portland. It's put on by the Oregon Business Council and the Oregon Business Association. It's a gathering of about 1,200 folks from around the business community. Various speakers come and talk to them about a variety of topics, and the governor was here today, obviously, talking about his budget release that he did on Friday.
Okay, comments the governor just made. You were there, we were not. What did he have to say, and your reaction?
Well, it's not much different than what he really had to say Friday when he held his press conference, Dave, regarding his budget release. For K-12 schools across the state, he appropriated $6.15 billion. Plus, he anticipates somewhere in the neighborhood of $255 million in savings to the PERS system that he has proposed. So he claims that there is spendable money of about $6.4 billion for the upcoming biennium for K-12 schools. We would be a little bit more cautious than that because we believe that even though we support the PERS reforms he's putting forward, we believe there'll be legal challenges to them, and it could be a while before we know whether those are going to stand and those dollars are actually available for school districts to spend on programs for boys and girls.
Now, a news release came from your office, from the Oregon School Boards Association, saying you consider that the governor's proposed 2013-15 budget as a positive first step towards establishing a stable source of funding that schools desperately need. What do you like about this first step? Is it the PERS reform or what?
No, I mean, two things, Dave. I would say, one, obviously the PERS reform. Our association has been at the forefront of those discussions because the rates for school districts are going to go through the roof beginning in July 2013 and cost school districts across the state $300 million in this next biennium just to pay for PERS. But also, primarily with his budget, for the first time in several biennium, the budget for the K-12 schools, state school fund appropriation, is not based on one-time funding, whether that's bonding dollars or federal recovery money or some other type of one-time funding. This is money right from the general fund and lottery funds. And that hasn't happened for quite some time. While it's still not adequate, it is definitely stable. We're not having to come back potentially midterm in a biennium and disappropriate funds from schools. I mean, unless, of course, the economy just absolutely tanks and the revenues aren't there to fund that out of the general fund. But it's a very positive first step in funding schools stable out of the general fund rather than looking at other pots of money or federal funds that could disappear or some other type of one-time funding that just wouldn't make itself available into the future. So it's a good first step. We need to see additional revenues go into that to have it be adequate And, of course, as I said before, we do support his steps making reforms to the PERS system.
Oregon's economy is still struggling to recover, and stable funding as far as just income in general to the Oregon budget, state budget. Nobody really knows exactly how much that's going to be. The governor has some, rather optimistic projections here. What do you think about the governor's 40-40-20 goal, which, for people that haven't heard about that, calls for 40% of adult Oregonians to hold a bachelor's or advanced degree, 40% to have an associate's degree or a meaningful post-secondary certificate, and all adult Oregonians to hold a high school diploma or equivalent by the year 2025. That's rather an aggressive goal given the current financial situation, don't you think?
It is an ambitious goal, and for your listeners who don't know, Dave, 2025, those are this year's kindergarten class. So we're really looking at making an impact as we move those students through the system. And what that means for K-12 schools, that's 100% graduation, because you don't get a bachelor's degree or some other type of technical degree or community college associate's degree without graduating from college. So it really means that school districts across the state have to step up to the plate and move the dime to meet that 40-40-20 goal. I can't disagree with it. Who doesn't want to have each student graduate from high school? But we have some pretty high dropout rates across the state. Our graduation rate, as was just reported a couple of weeks ago from the U.S. Department of Education, is, I think, 5th worst in the nation. So we've got a lot of work ahead of us, and we need help from the legislature and the governor, the business community, and the public at large, making sure that occurs, because we only get stronger as a state when our school system is strong. We only have a stronger economy when we have businesses that want to move here and their workers want to put their kids in our schools.
What about the governor's proposal for PERS reform? As you take a look at the budgets from different municipalities, school districts in the state of Oregon, the contribution they're having to pay to PERS is staggering, and it's taking money away from, paying for teachers that are now in the classroom, not to take anything away from paying for the retirement of teachers of the past or the current teachers who retire in the future. But it's significant contribution. Don't you agree there needs to be something done with PERS for reform?
Yeah, as I've said before, we have a platform of PERS reforms. We have 9 bills that are being drafted right now. Several of them take advantage of what the governor mentioned in his budget, which would be to limit the cost of living adjustment, or the COLA, for retirees to the first $24,000 of benefit paid to them. There's also a little anomaly in our public employee retirement system that pays an out-of-state tax benefit for taxes paid in Oregon to folks who don't live in Oregon, and that just seems a little cockeyed in our mind, that you're going to pay somebody who lives outside the state, who doesn't pay in-state taxes, a tax benefit for which they pay Oregon taxes. Those are the 2 ideas the governor came forward with, about $250 million for schools over the next biennium. But it's a first step in the process. And as you said, municipalities, all units of local government, and the state are going to pay higher rates. For example, in school districts across the state, the current rate that they pay, as expressed as a percentage of salary, is about 19.6. That rate is due to go to 26.7. That is a huge increase. And I sit on a local school board. I'm a locally elected official on the Salem-Keizer School Board. And for our school district alone, next year's PERS cost for those rate increases is $17 million. That's $17 million out of our budget that we don't have to pay for programs, teachers, class size reduction, that we've got to pay into the pension system. And I can tell you and your listeners that while the dollar amount may not be as high, the percentage of a budget in the greater Albany public school system, in the Lebanon public school system, in Sweet Home, up and down the Mid-Valley and across the state is that high. It's dramatic, it's shocking, and it's something as school districts begin to build their budgets, they've got to try to deal with, which is why our association has been at the forefront of wanting to make changes in that system. We want them to be balanced. I mean, we understand folks have made life-altering decisions to retire, so we've got to balance the savings we're looking at in the PERS system versus what you may do to a PERS member's benefit. But the system is out of balance right now, and taking those dollars out of the classroom and cities away from services they have to provide, we've got to make some changes.
What would you say to the retiree? What would you say to the retiree who says, "I earned these. This is what was promised to me. I want my money"?
Well, I understand that, and trust me, I hear that a lot from PERS retirees. But also remember, when those promises were made, we were in a different economic reality than we are today. The PERS system assumes it's going to earn 8% in the stock market, Dave. And I can't find a financial planner or a market watch person across the nation that would peg anybody's earnings at 8% in the stock market today. Because remember, PERS dollars are invested in the market. We're just not earning that. Last year, for example, they assumed the earnings rate in the PERS system would be 8%. The market only returned 2.2% on the PERS fund. We just don't live in the economic reality of when the legislature may have made those promises, and we need to adjust our realities in order to recognize that.
Jim, a pleasure talking to you. Look forward to visiting with you again. We need to move on. We've got a lot to cover in the show today, but we do appreciate you taking time, stepping out of the meeting there with the governor and visiting with us here on KGAL's Valley Talk.
Oh, no problem. Thank you very much, Dave.
Okay, bye-bye. And we will continue with the program here in a minute. We will be having a phone call here shortly from Representative Mike McClain and talking about his reaction. He was also at the Oregon Business Summit, also listened to what the governor had to say, and he will be calling in here. In fact, you might hear the phone ringing while we're talking to our next guest here. Gene Marshall is with the Lebanon Chamber Orchestra. And Gene, thank you for being with us on Valley Talk today. It's a little busy in here, but thanks for joining us.
Oh, I'm very glad to be here.
So talk to us about the Lebanon Chamber Orchestra and what's going on. You have an event coming up.
We have a concert December 14th, 7:30. It's a Friday. 7:30 in the evening. It's about an hour concert. I don't like to go much longer than that. And we have a variety of music that we're going to be playing. First time, we will be playing a symphony, a full symphony, and that hasn't happened before. We're a group that is, at least 12 years that we've been together, and it is a true community orchestra. We have members that come from Sweet Home, from Albany, from Scio, as well as Lebanon, and they range in age from 14 at this point to 72, with all the generations in between, and the camaraderie and the interaction that we have between the generations of people in the orchestra is a lot of fun. When we practice very hard, and when we're not practicing, we get along very, very well. The kinds of music that we're playing, besides the symphony, that'll be the first half of the concert. Mm-hmm. And then we'll be doing some Christmas carols. We have the Ukrainian carol, and we've got 9 singers who sing with us part of the time, and they'll be doing All Is Well and Let There Be Peace on Earth, and they'll be singing with us on the Ukrainian carol, and they'll be singing with us on the Christmas song.
The Ukrainian carol?
Mm-hmm. That's the bell carol.
Oh, okay.
It's
like Christmas of the Bells,
yes,
where they ring the bells?
The Carol of the Bells. Yeah, it came from the Ukraine originally, so.
What, is there a cost to attend?
No, it is a free concert. We do this twice a year. It's our gift to the community. We laugh and say, they don't pay me to conduct, I don't pay them to play.
Okay. Why are you involved with the Lebanon Chamber Orchestra? What do you personally get out of it?
I started it.
There you go.
I taught in the public schools for 35 years. Mm-hmm. Not here, but in other places. North Dakota, Virginia, Kansas. But I grew up on the West Coast. So coming home to retire was my intent. I thought I was finished with teaching. I thought I was going to do other things and fill up the rest of my life with new things. But I wasn't aware at that point that music teachers aren't allowed to retire. Mm. We're just not. People say, well, my son would like to play violin. Couldn't you teach him? Well, yeah. Mm-hmm. So here I am. And I retired in 1995, and the first thing that we did with a few students was play some Christmas carols at Stainthorpe's Music at Christmas time. Mm-hmm. I think there were 6 of us at that point. And then it grew to 14, and we practiced at Willamette Manor. They gave us space to practice. And then I got a bass player, so I didn't have to play bass anymore, and that's when I figure that we really started as an orchestra, when I started to conduct.
So you're conducting?
Yes. Yes, I'm the conductor, yeah.
You do this every year. How many years have you been doing this again?
We've looked back and tried to figure it out, and as far as we can tell, it was 2000 that we started. Maybe 1999 was when we really started.
What is there about orchestra music that resonates with you? Or let's say we're talking to somebody who either likes country or contemporary music and haven't really got into orchestra music. What is there about that you enjoy?
It's the variety of sound. And we're not limited to one thing. You know, we play country, we play classical, we play jazz, we play all kinds of things. So we're not limited.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's free of charge?
Free of charge. December 14. We do a repeat concert the following Monday on the 17th at Willamette Manor. And that concert's at 7 o'clock. The 14th concert is at the LHS auditorium, and from 7:30 to about 8:10.
Okay. Thank you for being with us on Valley Talk today. I apologize. We've got so much that we're trying to cover in the program today. We'd love to have you on again in the future and talk about the Lebanon Chamber Orchestra, and especially if you have other events in the future that are coming up, please let us know and we'll tell everybody about them.
2 a year.
There we go. When's the next one?
It'll be sometime in May.
Okay. All right. Jean Marshall, thank you for being with us on Valley Talk today.
Very welcome.
And let's go right to the phone lines right now. We have Representative Mike McClain on the phone. Mike, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, you just heard the governor's comments at the Oregon Business Summit. What do you think? We just had a member of the Oregon School Boards Association on, hailing the governor's education budget for 13-15 as a good step forwards toward establishing what they're calling a stable source of funding for schools and a good first step in PERS reform. What's your take on the governor's budget?
Well, I think the governor has put forth a good starting point. In the end, the legislature has to be the one that come up with the budget, but we know that the governor will support certain things. And I certainly, and House Republicans, can agree to quite a few of those things. We'd like to see a more fiscally responsible expenditure, which includes PERS reform. It is good that the governor is able to now have some sustainability in education funding. But again, we don't know what the future holds with revenues. And ultimately, that's the center point of what we all know we need, and that is more taxpayers and a robust economy.
The governor's proposed 40-40-20 goal, 40% of adult Oregonians have a bachelor's or advanced degree, 40% associate's degree or some kind of post-secondary certificate, and then all adult Oregonians to have a high school diploma equivalent by the year 2025. You think that's too optimistic, given the current economic condition of the state?
Well, it may be, but I know for one thing, if we never aim at it, we'll never hit it. When we passed that in 2011, I and many other legislators voted for it because it was a way to set the path on for the state towards competitiveness, certainly, and the next generation, but also a sense of responsibility that we owe our kids opportunities here. And I think everyone was mindful that, it's a goal, and we're certainly moving towards it as best we can, but we're not exempt from the problems that plague other states in achieving it.
PERS reform, the governor's proposal to reform PERS, far enough? Where do we need to go? This is a very expensive item for a lot of school districts, a lot of cities.
The governor really wants to tackle two things, which is capping the COLA for PERS that are more than $24,000 a year, and it doesn't mean doing away with it. It means turning that cost curve a little bit down. When you have someone, like Coach Pilati and others making, the huge amounts of PERS, that they don't need the cost of living adjustments that, say, somebody who's making, $24,000 a year or $2,000 a month. So I think that's reasonable. It was a part of the School Savings Act that Representative Jason Conger from Bend put in last session. I was a co-sponsor, many others, and sadly it didn't get a hearing because there was a resistance politically to do anything with PERS. I just hope the governor doesn't meet that same resistance. I know that he's talked about some flexibility a little bit with some other items on PERS reform. I think there's more we can do, but certainly his is a good place to start.
What do you think more you said there's more we can do. Any ideas you have?
Well, I think, the Republican House members are going to put forth a comprehensive plan on how we could make some more adjustments and really bring more stability for the longer term. And there will be a day here before next session we'll set that forth. I think what people have talked about is everything from negotiations on the employer pickup on PERS to the, again, amortization tables and the like. The goal is this. Our public employees deserve a stable system. They work hard, but unfortunately, we have to bring it in line with the private sector, and we have to have a realistic appreciation that our kids deserve to have more teachers in the classroom, and that's our goal.
Any new comments today from the Oregon Business Summit? Governor just within the hour had some comments. Anything new that he said?
No, I've heard it before, and I think the governor is doing his best to navigate a tight political spot that he's in. With the good news is his party and the ruling class of the Democratic Party is in power. The bad news is they're in power, and in the sense that they're now responsible to follow through with all those campaign promises they've made. I think it's going to be tough for them to do that. We certainly are going to roll up our sleeves in the Republican House and work very hard to achieve more private sector jobs, to achieve PERS reform and greater fiscal responsibility, and we're going to work very hard and collaboratively on the things that we agree with. We're not always going to agree on everything, but we're sure going to make sure that we do our best to make Oregon be prosperous so our kids and grandkids can choose Oregon and we don't have to drive to Texas to watch a football game. Okay. Republican Representative Mike McClain, thank you for being with us on Valley Talk. We need to take a break, and we'll have you on the show again in the future. Thanks for being with us today. Thank you, Dave.
The saying, home is where the heart is, remains as true today as ever. Hi, I'm Jenny Saunders, Director of Nursing with New Horizons In-Home Care. Call us when you or someone you know needs help. We have an excellent team of nurse care managers and professional caregivers providing medical and non-medical services in your home, including housekeeping, meal preparation, bathing and grooming assistance, as well as medication management. Call 541-752-9059. New Horizons In-Home Care. We're there when you need us.
Attention homeowners, if your home has lost value and you now owe more than your home is worth, please listen carefully to this very important message. If you purchased a home or refinanced your loan before June of 2009, Quicken Loans may now be able to help you refinance at today's incredibly low interest rates, even if you owe more than your home is worth. This is Jay Farner, president of Quicken Loans, and I want to let you know that on September 14th of this year, the government announced changes that may allow you to refinance even if your home has lost value. So if your current mortgage is higher than 3.99%, please call Quicken Loans today at 800-QUICKEN. Even if you owe more than your home is worth, you may now be able to refinance at today's incredibly low rates. Again, if you've been unable to refinance because you owe more than your home is worth and your rate is above 3.99%, call 800-QUICKEN now and let us help you take advantage of this unique opportunity.
Important terms and conditions apply. Call us for cost information. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
When you look out across the Willamette Valley, you'll see plenty of banking choices. Willamette Community Bank is here to give you an option that's pretty unique. Like no other, in fact, Willamette Community Bank provides an alternative to large national and regional banks by offering customized financial services and Locally
owned and operated, this is the very independent News Talk 1580 KGAL, Lebanon, Albany, Corvallis.